Welcome to Downtown Sports. My name is Downtown Stephen Brown, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about everything that the Toronto Maple Leafs need to do to beat the Columbus Blue Jackets in the NHL Play-In Series. And like I mentioned in the previous video, I am still selling some hockey jerseys, some Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, even a Sidney Crosby jersey. They're $140 Canadian each with shipping already included. If you live in Toronto or in the GTA and you want to come pick them up to save yourselves about $15 or so, you can do that. We can arrange that. And don't feel pressured at all to buy them just because I'm selling them. If you're in the market for one, they're listed in the description down below. Hit me up on Twitter afterwards. And in the last video that we did here on the channel, I asked you guys to grab something that makes you feel lucky or that reminds you of what it is to feel lucky. And I grabbed my old Lucky baseball glove, and it says Black Magic on the inside of the pocket there. And we used the last little bit of luck and Black Magic, I guess. If my head starts spinning around by the end of this video, we'll worry about that when it happens. But so far, so good. Wasn't that win just everything that you could have possibly wanted, minus Jake Muzzin getting injured? And don't worry, we will talk about that later on in the video. And like I mentioned right off the top of the video, the number one thing that the Maple Leafs can do to win this series, just handedly, just have it for them on a silver platter and not have to worry about it, even without Jake Muzzin, is they need to make Joonas Korpisalo feel uncomfortable while being in the net. If there is one thing that I would say that you can learn from Sean Avery that would be acceptable, is the shenanigans that he played with Martin Brodeur in the playoffs all those years ago. And I'm not saying to Chris Kreider, Carey Price the guy or anything like that. All I'm saying is that make sure he knows that you're there when you're standing in front of the net. Make sure that he knows that you're there after you drive the net. Make sure that he knows that you're there after every whistle. And if you have to, if you really want to, walk in over the blue line and just clap one right at his mask. What do goalies not like to do, or what are they really uncomfortable doing most of the time? Playing the puck. You know, if you can make him or force him play the puck, let him do that. And make sure that he knows that you're there when you're skating around the net. Frederik Andersen's Game 1 performance, even though they lost that game, made me feel more confident in the Maple Leafs winning this series than I did coming into it. And what do you know? He leads all goaltenders in save percentage, so I guess we can stop worrying about Frederik Andersen for the meantime. We're going to be recalling a lot of the things that I said in yesterday's video, but one of the things that I meant wholeheartedly is that if Frederik Andersen plays the way that we know that he can, the Maple Leafs should win this series. They should have it on a silver platter. And I mean, quite literally, all the things that we were worried about after Game 1 basically solved itself in Game 2. If we take a look at the advanced analytics from MoneyPuck.com here, we're going to see that the Maple Leafs thoroughly dominated the play here from the drop of the puck. They really did deserve to win this game. There wasn't at any point in this game where Columbus was even in it for a second, really. They controlled the majority of the scoring chances in front of the net and in the slot area. They controlled the majority of the expected goals, but most importantly, when we're looking at the players who contributed the most to this win, they were the guys that we called out after Game 1. I still don't think that Mitch Marner played up to the potential that we know he can just with his elite playmaking ability. We didn't see that yet in this game. There were still some sloppy passes and sloppy plays that he was involved in, but John Tavares, have yourself a game. The captain showed up to play, and he dominated from the second they dropped that puck. And the fourth line to start this game did start out very energized, and it makes it easier to mix them into the game and gives them more shifts when a guy like Kyle Clifford is going to go out there and set the tone about 2 minutes into the game. It also helps that the Toronto Maple Leafs actually had a lead in this game. You know, when you're tied or down by a goal, you don't necessarily want to be playing the fourth line as much. And I think that the Maple Leafs will roll with Marner playing with Matthews and Tavares playing with Nylander going through in Game 3 because it just looked to click a little bit better. The third line continues to be very, very effective, centered by Alexander Kerfoot there, who has had himself a couple of really, really good games. Nick Robertson is showing you why he belongs in the NHL right now. Just to have the confidence to just wave off Kerfoot, who's just absolutely going crazy in the slot asking for the puck. And trust me, if you watch Nick Robertson play at all this year, you want him taking that shot. And before we talk about what the Maple Leafs are going to do without Jake Muzzin for a while, I think that we just need to enjoy this clip of John Tortorella postgame.
I'm not going to break the game down at all. Toronto played a really good game. We sucked.
He would go on to repeat that a couple of times, but you guys get the point. The reports on Jake Muzzin so far are positive. I mean, from what the team has said, from what players have said, it's better than what we would have expected from the situation that we saw happen on the ice yesterday. So I hope that he's okay. That's the first thing that I got to say about it. We haven't really heard anything concrete on the nature of the injury or a timetable on Jake Muzzin just yet, but the one thing that we do know is that Jake Muzzin left the bubble to get treatment at a Toronto hospital. And according to Chris Johnson here, it's really just a wait and see sort of thing. He would need to quarantine again, even if he is ready to go for game 3 or 4. So I don't think he's going to be available for the rest of this series, which really, really sucks. So then the question becomes, who takes Jake Muzzin's spot in the lineup? And it's not one of the guys that are scratched on the bench right now. It's Travis Dermott. Travis Dermott is going to need to fill those shoes, or those skates rather, of Jake Muzzin. Listen, we've talked about Travis Dermott on this channel at length over the last couple of months. I have defended him. I have said my piece when it comes to this guy. But if he does not work out here in Toronto, it will not be because he wasn't given an opportunity to show what he can do here. This is yet another opportunity for Travis Dermott to really step up and show that he belongs and is part of this long-term core. I think that he's talented enough. I think that he's smart enough. I think that he can do it. It's just a matter of actually seeing it on the ice. So then who replaces Travis Dermott here? And I think a lot of people are going to be really frustrated with this answer because you'd automatically jump in and say Rasmus Sandin. And I don't necessarily know if that's true. I'm filming this video around 9:30 a.m. on Wednesday, so we haven't gotten an opportunity to see the Maple Leafs' practice lines the next day after the Muzzin injury, but I'm going ahead and I'm going to make a guess, and I'm going to say it's Marty Marincin that draws into the lineup. And I'm saying this for the same reason why you couldn't just slot in Rasmus Sandin for Cody Ceci to start this series. If you're looking at Jake Muzzin and what his role here is on this team, he's a penalty killer. You can't have him come out of the lineup and not put in another penalty killer. Look, Marty Marincin and Tyson Barrie scares me as a pairing too. But I think that the Toronto Maple Leafs should be able to beat the Columbus Blue Jackets, whether it be in a best-of-5 series or a best-of-7, even without Jake Muzzin. What the Toronto Maple Leafs need to continue to win this series is they need Frederik Andersen to be Frederik Andersen, and they need those top 2 lines to really show up and earn their keep, basically. But let me know what your guys' thoughts and opinions on what the Maple Leafs need to do to win this series. Let me know who you think draws into the lineup with Jake Muzzin being injured. Let me know how you guys are feeling about this one after the Game 2 victory. Are you guys a little bit more confident? Are you guys able to be a little bit more receptive of the positivity maybe that I was throwing out there? Because I know that some of you guys were really not having it. And also remember, if you guys are interested in a jersey or whatever, they are listed in the description of this video. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like the video if you did like it and subscribe for more, because more is always on the way. And guys, remember, the Toronto Maple Leafs have this thing in the bag because we got black magic on our side.